Students, welcome to my class. This is the class on the second part of the solution that I wish to share with you all. The second part of the question that we have in the case study is to assume if the company provides the additional fund for working capital so that the loan may not be taken. So what would be the present value of the cash inflows if the additional funding is done by the parent company itself and you wouldn't avail the loan from the French government, okay, which was given to us in the question, that is close to around 10 million. Now this is the second part of the answer. So the heading what we write is cash flows in the present values assuming that the working capital is provided by the parent company. So we take particulars year 1, 2 and 3. Net cash flows, this is calculated already, so we have to just take the information from what we have here. Net cash flow is 17, 19 and 33.6 as it is, and add to this the salvage value and also the recovery of the working capital. Salvage value 42 and recovery to the working capital, which is 10. So therefore the total cash flow is 17, 19 and 85.6. From this deduct the withholding tax, which is at the rate of 10%. 10% of 17 is 1.7, 10% of 19 is 1.9 and 10% of 85.6 is 8.56. So what is a net remittance? It is after deducting the withholding tax from the total cash flow. So 17 minus 1.7 and it goes on 85.6 minus 8.56, which is 77.04. Now how do we take the present value? I think in the previous class or in the previous video, I have shown how the present value at the rate of 15% is taken. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3 and 1 divided by 1.15 is 0.870 and we get 15.3, 17.1 and 68.04. Likewise, here in this case, the present value at the rate of 15% is 13.3, 12.93 and 50.65. The forward exchange rate provided to us in the question is 0.22, 0.25 and 0.28. So what is the present value in terms of dollar? It is 13.3 multiplied with 0.22. Same way 12.93 multiplied with 0.25 and 50.65 multiplied with 0.28. So therefore the present value in terms of dollar is equal to 20.34. This is the total of your present value of your cash inflows. So how do we reach out to the NPV? Net present value is the PVCIF minus the initial investment. So when I add this together, I get 20.34 minus initial investment. Okay, this is not 14 but 12. So 20.34 minus 12 is $8.34. So since NPV is positive and it is also giving you a better return, we can say that the present value of the original proposal without taking the loan is also positive and hence a company should accept the original proposal. Hope you understood this. The third part of the question is, they've asked you, would the NPV of this project from the parent's perspective be more sensitive to the exchange rate movement if the subsidiary used French financing to cover the working capital? French financing to cover for the working capital is 10 million, right? And the exchange rate is 0.20. So naturally the answer would be, if the subsidiary used the French financing to cover for the working capital, this project would be less sensitive to exchange rate movement. This is because the exposure of the parent would be less to the tune of only 2 million, which is nothing but 10 million into, I'll just take it here, 10 into 0.20, which is equal to 2 million. Right? That is the answer. And moving on to the next question. They've asked you, assume Carrot Company uses the original proposed financing arrangement that the funds are blocked until the subsidiary is sold. The funds to be remitted are reinvested at a rate of 8% after the taxes until the end of the year 3. Okay, so this is what they have said is the amount that you receive in the year 1 is reinvested. So when you reinvest that, is there any kind of change in the NPV? In that case, would your answer change and how is a project's NPV affected? So let's see MNC NPV for this particular sub question. So what we do is assuming that the same thing, okay, I've just taken assuming that the company uses the original proposed financing arrangement, that the funds are blocked until the subsidiary is sold. The funds to be remitted are reinvested at a rate of 8%. So if this were to be the case, now in year 1, this is the amount you're going to get in year 1, the net remittance before interest. This amount gets reinvested, and if it gets reinvested, the modified internal rate of return is in application. So therefore 15.3 becomes 17.85 at the end of year 3. Okay, so how did we get this? It is nothing but 15.3 into 1.08. Why 1.08? Because the formula is 1 plus 1 plus the rate to the power of t or n. Now in this case, if 15.3 is reinvested, you can invest it for 2 years only. So therefore it is to the power of 2. And we get how much? 17.845. Same way, 17.1 gets reinvested for only 1 year. So therefore 17.1 into 1.08 is equal to 18.468, approximately 18.47. Now I can say that 17.1 becomes 18.47 at the end of year 3. So what is the exchange rate in this case? It's given 0.28. Okay, the present value therefore is equal to, now we may say that, so we may say that the present value is nothing but 68.04 plus 17.1, it is 68.04, then 17.85, and then you have your 18.47. I think I have to write it here for your understanding. Let me put this across. Like I said, 68.04 plus 18.47 plus 17.85. Okay, so this will be equal to, now what is this equal to? Let me check. Some function I'll use, and the total of this, yeah, perfect, 104.36. Now the exchange rate is 0.28. So therefore the present value in this case is 29.22. Let me take here 0.28. So naturally the answer should be this multiplied with this, right? So which is 29.22. Look at the answer, 29.22. So the net present value is nothing but 29.22 minus the initial investment, which is 12, which is equal to 17.22. So the answer is also positive with the third case. Okay, let's move to the last part of the question. The last part of the question says, let's go to the question. Assume that the Carrot Company decided to implement the project using the originally proposed financing arrangement. Also assume that after 1 year, a French firm offers this company a price of 30 million after taxes for the subsidiary, and that the company originally forecasts its data for 2 years, for year 2 and year 3, have not changed. Yeah, should the company still go for the proposal, or should it divest the subsidiary? That's the question you have to justify, explain. So what they have asked you is, you need to assume that the project is implemented with the original sum of the money, and the firm the firm is going to offer, there is a new company or a new firm which would offer this particular company a new price of 30 million after taxes for the subsidiary. So would that still be convincing, or would that affect the NPV, and what is your explanation for it? Okay, so since we have to consider this 30 million, yeah, let's go to the year 1 data. The year 1 data, I think we already calculated this here. The same data, facts will not change, right? So year 1. So what we have to do is take year 1. Total cash flows is 17. less withholding tax. Withholding tax is 10%, which is 1.7. Net remittance is therefore 15.3. Forward exchange rate, that is dollar over the French francs, is 0.22 and remittance is therefore 3.66. How did I get this? This is 15.3 multiplied with 0.22. Salvage value is given to you, which is 30. So therefore the net remittance is 30 plus 3.36, which is 33.36. So what is the present value? Now we know it is 1 divided by 1.15. So we got it. We got this present value as 29. Yeah, we'll get around 28.98. Okay, just calculate roughly 5 and above 5. You can convert it to the next number. So 29. So cash inflows, initial investment is 12 and therefore the net present value is 17. So we can say that the opportunity over here is the best, as it is maximizing the net present value for the Barrett Corporation. So therefore we can accept the proposal. So one thing, let me tell you, here you, in all the situations, you find that accepting the proposal would definitely benefit the company, because it is definitely influencing the net present value. So needless to say, whether you're going for loan, still NPV is positive. You don't go for loan, NPV is positive. You operate it in different scenarios, still we find the NPV is positive. So thus we can conclude from the details compiled that the company can necessarily opt or recommend or accept the proposal. So we can say that NPV is positive, so therefore the proposal is recommended.